And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3 here. We've got Elements Pro Gaming taking on Team Alternate Attacks in the round of 12 here in the single elimination bracket for the Starlighter I-League Invitational European Qualifiers. Winner will advance to the next round where they will be meeting Team Spirit. Loser will be eliminated and their shot at Kiev will be taken away. We've got game number 3. This is the decider. One of these teams going home, one moving forward. I'm GoDz, joining me as Scant, and well, our first 3-game series, Scant, feeling like a bit of an Elements comeback, at least as far as momentum goes, with that Game 2 finish.
Yeah, and speaking of momentum, Alternate first pick Bounty Hunter, which they've done, I think, all 3 games of the series. Well, with their first pick, they didn't have first pick every game, but it's been their first pick every time. So, momentum-based hero. Maybe they didn't get the momentum they wanted early on last game. We kind of thought, I think we both thought that they looked strong going late anyway.
Yep.
And then they kind of just like dropped the ball for a few moments, and Elements kind of ran away with the game.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of looking back on that game, especially for Alternates, probably thinking, hey, that was our game. We probably should have won that game. We made some just late game mistakes. Even like me, like from an outside cast perspective, I feel like that was very much like 80-20 Alternates game at the end there, and then they fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah, which psychologically, like, they might feel a bit tilted, and you're right, Elements might feel like confident having momentum, but at the same time, there's another way to look at it where both teams are smart enough to realize that Alternates are still got the better of the series so far across the 2 games, definitely, and it's still possible that Elements feel like underdogs and Alternate feel like they come in as favorites regardless.
Yeah, and I think that's, as much as it's maybe like tilting a little bit, like, oh, we lost the game, we should have won, but you can look at it the other way, like, hey, they should have won 2-0. They probably feel like, hey, we're definitely a better team. It in some ways gives you some confidence that, hey, this is a team we should beat. So I think there's some argument to be also made, like, hey, they're probably not too concerned right now, knowing that they are the better team.
Okay, we're going to see an Enchantress. That's the first time we've seen that, I think, in the whole day of casting.
I think it's been banned out almost every game up until now. I don't know if this series, I think it was also being banned out in this series as well as the previous series for sure. But Zeus recently snagged.
Yeah, Zeus is really good against Enchantress, obviously. Oracle's quite good against Zeus. You can, if you at the right time, just put your Fate's Edict on an ally. Like, all of a sudden they don't take any damage. But I recently started spamming Enchantress in pubs. I'm like that person now.
Oh gosh.
But I almost always play at 4 position. So it's like, and I feel like if you early pick an Enchantress and the enemy team then like goes out of the way to deal with the offlane Enchantress, and then you actually just have a 4 position Enchantress, it can be really valuable. Obviously, in this case, if they run it in the jungle, you're against a Bounty Hunter. I actually think Enchantress is one of the more competent junglers against Bounty Hunter, because it's not a hero that just sits in the jungle and farms. It's like you go to the jungle bit, then you go to a lane, do something, and you go back to the jungle. So you're moving around a lot, being very proactive. And if the Bounty just tries to hunt you all the time, it's going to miss you half the times, and other times you're just going to like fight it.
Yep. Well, that's where the Oracle, I think they picked that partly against the Bounty, not just get rid of track, but it's a pretty durable laning support. Like, as far as base stats go, this is not like a squishy, easy insta-kill for a Bounty Hunter in a lot of situations early on, so. And also here that just gets away with like minimal items, so I think in a lot of ways Oracle can match up pretty nicely against the Bounty. And we'll see how that kind of plays out, but bans coming out. Death Prophet again banned. You talked about how it was one of Supreme's like second go-to heroes, but it seems Alternate, at least this game and the previous one, to just keep it out of Elements' hand. And it is Elements who have the first pick in that second stage.
Well, it's also, I mean, since they have a player who's really good at the hero, they respect the hero. You know, they're very aware of how the hero works, what it does, its strengths and weaknesses. And
more importantly, they also have what's likely their mid-hero too, so that goes without saying.
Now, it's interesting that Elements don't ban out the Spectre. Like, certainly the pub meta at the moment is that, like, teams, I don't know if you know, like, if someone first picks Zeus or Spec, usually the other team takes the other one. Like, it's seen as, like, a pretty serious, like, scary combo to give away, but Sven is one of the better carries to have against the Spectre, so maybe that's, instead of banning out the Spec, they just like preemptively prepare for if it is going to be a Spectre.
Well, it's definitely possible with the alternate options available. They're very limited on just lockdown and control right now. Maybe something Elements can look to exploit, but Spectre a possible consideration for that carry role. The Lone Druid's been the go-to for the last 2 games and is once again available if they want to. Not sure how they feel. That's the thing here. You're against Enchantress, which could be in a 4 position role or could be just the offlaner. So you're maybe thinking like, what do we need to put together as far as like carry support duo that can actually deal with an Enchantress in lane.
Yeah, and especially since you've already picked the Bounty Hunter as one of your supports, and Bounty is not really one of the heroes that deals with the Enchantress in lane. Well, Crystal Maiden is. Crystal Maiden is one of the better heroes against Enchantress. Helps in the lane stage for freezing the creeps. Also, maybe undervalued aspects of that is that once your Crystal Maiden's level 6, if she levels her ulti, she can solo kill an Enchantress basically all game long. It almost doesn't matter, because Enchantress, the way it builds, like Drum, Dragon Lance, those kinds of things, if you walk up to the Enchantress and Frostbite and ulti, it just literally can't do anything against that. And the aura is great with Zeus too, and with Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. Viper picked up, and this is almost like just being picked up as a direct laning counter for the Zeus, and also a pretty durable hero that's a bit not quite as good as the Brew against the roaming Bounty, but still, like, I don't really look at Bounty Zeus and think, oh yeah, they're going to be able to kill this Viper very easily. So
yeah, it doesn't seem likely. However, if they do, that's like, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a game where Viper gets ganked a few times successfully at the start and the Viper's team wins. That's one of the better ways to actually deal with the hero. If you, I think we had one like that where Mid1 was playing Viper against Sumail's Nyx at the Shanghai Major. I don't know if you remember that game.
I do. I don't remember who. I remember to the extent I remember the matchup. I don't remember who won or like how.
Mid1 was playing Viper and he got ganked many times, except by a Bounty Hunter in the mid lane. And I remember being surprised that the mid Nyx plus the Bounty was enough to actually kill him. But then we noticed that he hadn't taken Corrosive Skin, and usually Vipers do have at least 1 point early on in Corrosive Skin. But it is, the hero's like, in certain regards, if you get onto it, it's quite weak in the early levels, and if you do manage to kill it a few times and it gets behind, it's really not a catch-up hero. Yeah. So I wouldn't be like totally shocked if they try and kill it early on, but at the same time, intuitively, I agree with you that it doesn't seem like Bounty Zeus is the combo that kills a Viper in the first couple of levels.
And the thing is, if you're not killing him or like if you're not securing those, Zeus doesn't need the Bounty's help to farm. You're always going to get your farm with just the Arc Lightning in lane as Zeus. So if Bounty goes mid, he needs to be like securing those kills or really denying farm from Viper to justify that. But we'll see what the plan's going to be. Alternate pickup Doombringer as, I don't know, I don't really want to say a response necessarily to any one hero. It's also another counter in some ways to the Enchantress where you can devour those creeps as they come in. And Doom pretty useful against the Oracle himself if you can get it onto him. But
is this a core Doom? Because
it's got
usually people playing jungle Doom recently, but I just feel like that's not possible here, right? Nope. Unless you offlane your Bounty Hunter or something. It's like
offlane Bounty sounds awful. Once upon a time it was a thing, but
I think MP played a Doom earlier today in their series where they knocked TNC out of the Epicenter qualifier.
Okay.
And they won that game.
I think the offlane core Doom is still very viable. Like I very much this hero is coming to the meta. I think people are starting to realize just how good the Infernal Blade is. We're seeing it a bit more as like a greedy 4 position hero, but I think as an offlaner it can also fit in quite nicely.
The big question is, do you buy Iron Talon? Because I don't feel like this is an Iron Talon hero, even though like the way you play it as an offlaner, you kind of play that same style of going into the jungle.
I've actually been playing the hero a lot in my pubs, just and I found like it really depends on like if you're playing super aggressive and you can contest the lane, no, you completely skip it. But if you find you're going to be in a slightly tough, it really depends if you're going to end up in the jungle a lot farming or if you're going to be in lane. Like it's, to me, it just kind of depends on the flow of the game and how much pressure you're putting on.
Okay, because it's interesting to me because I'm pretty sure that maybe I'm wrong, but I think when Puppy was playing Jungle Doom in Shanghai, he wasn't going Iron Talon, even though he was jungling from the beginning of the game. So to me, that suggested like a, prefer to jungle in a different way to that. Or maybe it's because he was trying to be very active, kind of like eat a creep, go do something.
I think in his mind, he wanted to be like very active. Like maybe the game ended up in a place where he wasn't as active just by like the flow, but the fact it's also like their offlane player on the Doom makes me think more likely he may go for the Iron Talon.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and they end with a Slark for Exotic Deer, which I think is actually a really big pickup here. There's very, very little to deal with Slark, and Slark is the kind of hero that you need things to deal with.
And Slark, I'd say, pretty good against Enchantress. You've got at least decent nukes to at least try and fight her in lane to some extent. CM Slark to me sounds like a duo that can deal with an Enchantress. There's going to be a tuss, there's going to be other factors coming into play, but on paper this can work.
Yeah. And I think that I mean, from the perspective of Alternate and Slark, I feel like Sven is the only thing you worry about for almost the entire game. I don't see a way that a farmed Slark in this game dies except by standing and tanking Sven right clicks.
Yeah.
I just don't think anyone is going to deal with them.
They've got a really bad draft for just dealing with. Like, they've got no stuns to go through the Shadow Dance, unless you somehow find a snowball target and go on through. But even then, it's like not a very good, reliable, or long duration stun, so a pretty awful draft for dealing with Slark, absolutely. And Viper, as tanky as he can get, that just means Slark just keeps on hitting him, gets more essence shifts proc, so in a lot of ways, yeah, I feel like the Slark was a really amazing pick here.
And there's a Ring of Protection on the Doom at the start, so maybe a sign that we are going to see Iron Talon, quite likely.
Yep. Bassi Ring also quite good in this hero, like he obviously builds into the Vlads, but you run out of mana very quickly on Doom, and Bassi just giving you that set mana regen works very, very well in the hero.
There was even a time where people were rushing Tranquils and offlane Doom, so...
Yeah. So, I think just almost like a necessary starting item, regardless of Iron Talon, Tranquils, Bassi Ring, whatever it may be, but we'll find out soon enough what the plan's going to be and how he wants to play this one. CM starting off with this top rune, but that's because Alternate are planning to try and secure this top bounty rune as Sven. You don't want to go into that. Yeah, he's going to head towards the top lane. So one bounty rune apiece, Exotic Deer. See some of the heroes down here, and we'll actually see the ward get planted. So that's big information to the Slark as well as the Radiant team in general to be able to de-ward that one.
As the game goes later, this is something also about how the drafts match up. In terms of the vision battle, you've got a Bounty Hunter with Track, you've got a Slark who can tell you when there's enemy wards, and you have a Zeus with the ulti and the bolt. So I just feel like in terms of map control, there's a huge advantage for Alternate this game, and it almost for some reason makes me think of the
kill.
Sorry.
Slander. Oracle. Scorched Earth level. Goes for the Scorched Earth, and we'll find the kill on Slander. Alright, easy first blood, Orb of Venom, finding the Oracle there.
And this is sort of what I expected the Beastmaster and Bounty to do last game. What the Doom and Bounty have just done to start with, get really aggressive and abuse the fact that the enemy's, not really that cut out to fight level 1.
And Doom will get a quick level 2 as well, so it doesn't even matter that he got the Scorched Earth level 1. Have to see if he goes for the Devourer or the Infernal Blade. Does have the big... they de-warded his camp, so really nice sentry uses. They've just taken out both dire wards. Doom's found himself what is the best creep to get from this camp at this stage of the game. Gets the Satyr, and this is going to be... This is such a good game for Bounty Hunter because he can pressure mid, can pressure the Viper. Top lane with a Doom. Doom Bounty Hunter, a great duo to pressure this lane, especially with Doom having a good start, grabbing a creep already. And then there's bottom lane, where if he rotates bottom, I feel like he can also offer help. So all three lanes, Bounty Hunter poses a threat to. There's no one lane where it's like, oh, Bounty Hunter can't do anything here.
In a Bounty Hunter could die. No, never mind. But in like a really twisted way, because they found both Observer wards with their sentries, they don't have a sentry to clear the Viper sentry mid. It's like...
Did you see this clowny bottom lane? Slark like eating away at half the jungle to try and escape the Enchantress. Oh man.
Well, that's the power of Enchantress early on in lane.
Comes down with 2 creeps, and Slark, he pounced into trees and then had a Quelling Blade and 8 tangos. He chewed through like 3 tangos and like half a dozen trees and almost escaped, but couldn't quite juke.
Slark, I always feel is like if the enemy team's contesting your lane, this is like a really weak carry hero to have. Yeah. It's great when you're like 2v1 or 3v1, but when they're actually trying to contest it, it almost feels like you're just desperately trying to get your level 6 and hope you don't die before then, kind of thing.
Vervin's found himself in the mid lane, possibly in a position here where he can gank at this Zeus, leaving the Enchantress to soul in the offlane. He was leeching the XP at the start, but now that Xerxes come to the lane with the creeps, although it doesn't have creeps anymore, looks like he's going to spend a bit more time roaming around. Top lane, Doom, whoa, he got aggressive, almost went down there. That was the Bounty Hunter coming in. It looks like just some general aggression as the dust goes flying, not actually catching the Bounty Hunter. I think they were perhaps expecting him to be further up aggressive in lane and trying to catch a kill on him, but...
There's another nuke ready for the Doom, and if Bounty Hunter gets onto one of these heroes, they probably do finish a kill.
Yep. That Infernal Blade does a lot of damage at this stage of the game. He does hit Flow with it, but looks like it was just for some casual harassing. Oh, okay. There's the Hadouken.
I don't actually understand why that got buffed. Like, I mean, it always did a lot of damage. Like, why did they have to make the Shockwave deal more damage?
Oh, the Shockwave, yeah. Yeah, it's actually absurd. I think it was fine at 100, but...
I think I got buffed at a stage when Chen wasn't really being picked, and they were just like trying to find ways to push Chen in. But now that Chen's a big deal, I just feel like let's go back to the fact that the Shockwave creep was already like pretty overpowered before they buffed Shockwave.
Yeah. Uh-oh, top lane. Sven's come back, but Doom in a position where he can still turn this one around. He's got Scorched Earth, Tranquil Boots, Magic Stick. He's not an easy kill or really a viable kill. Turns around just for some harass here. Oops, CM takes out Tusk at bottom lane. Flo looking to chase, but does not have mana for a second stun. One of the limitations of his current build here. Doesn't have any Menga or anything as well to go with this. And bottom lane, Tusk going down to the CM very deep. It looked like Tusk was diving for the kill and the CM turned it around.
Yeah, which Alternate will be also happy with. Bring Slark close to that level 6, get out of the phase of the game where Enchantress and Tusk can really bully the Slark.
Looking at this mid lane, Viper's had a very successful time against Zeus. He's actually been crushing this lane.
Yeah, just been standing enemy side, like as we see now. And that's, you know, we talk about Zeus just standing far and farming, but Viper's able to do this.
The CM TP's in with the 2 spells, bounties there as well. He pops the wand, had a lot of charges, but he's going to go down. Viper just 2 points in the corrosive. Even with a third, I think he would have struggled to survive that one.
And that's really the only way you can punish a Viper from doing this against the Zeus, standing on the enemy ramp. You need to be able to threaten the kill so that the Viper feels a little bit uncomfortable doing it.
I'll find the Tusk illusion here and pop out, reveal the support positions, but interesting to see what Alternate's next move is going to be. They've got this Doom in the top lane who's approaching level 6 now. Maybe calling for a rotation. It's bottom lane though. Exotic Deer. He's been dived on again. Gets snowballed down. Cuts down the trees here as well. The Shockwave. Oh, finds him. Okay. 2 Shockwave kills in one game. 1 on each side.
I mean, like, okay, 160 damage and the travel distance 1,380. I mean, I just like that's like what sniper's range on Assassinate. It's like probably not that much more than that.
I think it's 2,000 at level 1. 2,000, 2,500,
okay.
3,000 or something.
It's quite, yeah, it is a lot more. But I mean, you get the. I'm exaggerating. You get the point I'm making. It's
yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing. I wouldn't mind some Satyr nerfs. It's funny, that whole camp is like some of the best spells to get. The Purge is ridiculous. That's been buffed a ton. It's a 5-second duration with a 3-second cooldown. And Nisha, there we go. Another Shockwave kill. 3rd of the game. 3 of these 7 kills coming out of Satyr Shockwaves.
MVP, Satyr.
I feel like that's so many games. I mean, we saw it at Shanghai. I remember the game I casted with LD, Alliance, Ake with the triple Shockwave and all kinds of ridiculous stuff coming out.
It's such a game-winning creep. I mean, if you get it right at the beginning of the game on Enchantress or Chen, you could literally just send it to the mid lane and like now you've won the mid lane. Like,
it would just be what gets me about it is like there's so much RNG involved, like with an Enchantress. Like if you find that versus if you find like a Centaur. Like Centaurs are kind of pretty shitty early on because it's an unreliable stun. Even if you hit the stun, it doesn't give you any damage. Whereas the Satyr, huge damage. It gives you this huge HP regen aura as well. Like there's it's night and day the comparison between finding these 2 creeps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you think it should be like for the first spawn? There's one of each camp distributed across the map?
I think they need to like make the Shockwave better. Make the Shockwave worse and make the Centaur better. Like they need to balance it out. So depending which creep camp you get, they're all viable. They all offer you something, and it's like, but it's not as good as obviously the Shockwave where it is now. Oh, Doom! He's going to turn and fight. He's actually going to win this battle. There we go, another Shockwave. And Nisha won't get a follow-up kill onto the Oracle, but his damage has already been done, and he's actually getting healed back up. That Scorched Earth providing him too much sustenance.
At the same time, the bounty. I was watching the bounty and the Crystal Maiden take out the Viper again. The Zeus had actually gone off back to base, but Viper was kind of low, and this is kind of what I was talking about. Even though the Viper got a good start to the game, the early deaths for Viper, it's really a hero that doesn't like to have early deaths because it wants to get to its first key item, which is usually the mech, at like the right time. It doesn't want it to be too delayed, otherwise it struggles to come back into relevance.
Yeah, that's 2 deaths. I mean, this Doom is actually marching ahead of everyone in terms of farm. He's going to have a very fast drums up. He doesn't even need the Bounty Hunter's help anymore. That's like the position he's in. He just wins this 1v2 matchup, and looks like Fervian on the Tusk has had enough. He's actually rotating towards top to probably try and kill this Doom. But with this stage of the game, it's got to be your #1 target for elements.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. I mean, the Sven is just totally unable to farm, and you got to do something about that situation. Like, sure, Sven will come back later with Ancients, but Sven doesn't even have Helm of Dom, not even close to Helm of Dom yet, so Ancients are like a pipe dream at the moment.
Doom sees the Oracle back at top. Not sure. Don't believe he's seen the Tusk up in this lane as well. But it is a level 4 Scorched Earth, so I don't even know if they kill him 3v1 here. That's the scary thing. The Courier's bringing the drums. I don't think... Okay, it's going to be spotted, but it doesn't get sniped here. So he's got drums, Tranquils, 4 points in Scorched Earth. 3 heroes is honestly not enough to kill Doom.
Yeah, I think he realizes that 3v... It's almost like he's like, okay, I dare you, test me. Let's see, just for science. Let's see what happens if you...
Tusk actually TP's bottom. I think Elements realized the same thing. Like, we can't go on this guy. 3v1, we lose. There's also a Zeus ultimate. That's the other kind of X factor. It's like, if anyone gets low, Zeus ultimate's there to provide some extra killing potential.
But this is so bad, because now Sven just goes back to the icon farm at all situation, and this Doom, between the, Infernal Blade, level 4 Scorched Earth, Drum, Doom, even the Shockwave, it's just easy pickings. Oracle's dead. Yep,
he pops the drum and everything. Is he going to Doom this one? Doesn't look like he wants to. He's going to wait for the Zeus ultimate. Nope, he's going to wait for the Shockwave.
He doesn't need to Doom.
This is the new OS Frog. Just you wait. I'm sure people are already realizing it, but Infernal Blade, you thought it was the OD Omni Knight or something like that. No, the real OS Frog is Infernal Blade right now.
Yeah, and it's maybe not as strong as Level Death is later on, especially in terms of dealing with Lincolns, but early on it's much stronger.
Well, it's scaled. No, it does. It's percent-based damage. It takes away, in theory, 20% of your HP before reductions.
Yeah, I just meant in terms of like people buy Lincolns to counter Doom, and then it's much more difficult to get the Doom off.
Your late game presence becomes a little bit less like you can't be entirely reliant on the Doom. Like you're not just picking this hero for the Doom anymore.
But the flip side of what I was saying, you never ever saw someone take like an early value point and level death to own their lane, whereas like Infernal Blade absolutely can do that. It gives you that presence.
He's not done. Infernal Blade, he's got Doom as well if he wants to use it. Flow, there we go, he gets Doomed up. Oracle is there. He's going to try and turn and fight, but I can only imagine a Zeus ultimate may come in soon if they need it. Yep, there we go. Pops the drum now. Slander going down as well. 2 kills on the top. I don't even know if Zeus was using his ulti for top, because he got a double kill out of that one. Took out the Tusk in the bottom river. Maybe that was the bonus, but this is starting to look ugly for Elements.
This is starting to look a bit like game 1. It's worrying if you're Elements, and they absolutely don't have the heroes that want to fight from behind. Viper doesn't want to be playing catch up. Sven, okay, yeah, you can farm stacks, but it's like the rate the game's going at, I feel like it's not impossible that Alternate will contest his ancient stack when he first goes to farm it, and that could just be like game losing if Sven goes to farm the stack and at that time his team ends up being wiped and losing the stack.
Doom, Vlad's almost complete, is completed. Okay. Just a casual 11-minute drums Vlad's as an offlaner. I say offlaner, like he didn't necessarily have like a hard lane. Like the hard lane was kind of the bottom lane, the Enchantress plus Tusk, but even so, this is just absurd. And bottom lane, they're going to go on the Enchantress now. The freezing field going to get cancelled here, importantly. That was going to be the needed damage to bring down the Enchantress with the max untouchable, so thanks to that snowball, they won't immediately get the kill, but okay, CM. Oh! TP's out. Enchantress didn't go for the second Impetus, and that was actually going to be needed, so.
Yeah, just misjudging, I think. But that's what I was talking about before. I think Freezing Field is almost a guaranteed kill on Enchantress, even from 4 HP. But with the Tusk there, you don't actually have that threat. And on the flip side of that, the Tusk's had to be with Enchantress a lot in this game. Hasn't been able to be in other parts of the map because the Enchantress couldn't handle the lane on its own necessarily.
Well, they've readjusted lanes on the element side. They say, Viper, you go top, you fight the Doom a bit. Sven is going to actually get some farm in the jungle since he can't lane against this Doom. But it seems Doom is actually wary of this. He's already rotating, getting aggressive towards this dire jungle. It's just a matter of finding some of these heroes. But it seems there's going to be a change of plans and they're going to head back towards the Viper. Thanks to a CM rotation, which has been spotted though. But doesn't seem to matter. Viper strike. He's still going to get hit by the Infernal Blade and the Shockwave. Oh, he misses it! Doesn't look like they'll have the damage now. I think if that Shockwave hits, it probably is a kill. No, the Oracle comes in to help offer some assistance, and Doom may actually end up going down here. This is such a big kill if Elements can get it, and they will. 600 gold going to the Enchantress, and I can only imagine as a team that's probably a pretty sizable swing. Yeah, 1600-ish gold.
Yeah, it becomes so key that the Viper got the Viper strike off before the Doom, because none of that happens otherwise. I still feel like it maybe was possible for Alternate to go in, draw the TPs, and get out. But they don't. Elements do get the win, and as you say, a very, very big, important kill. Might become a tower kill too.
They just didn't, like, I mean, Elements having a lane war there, something you kind of got to expect at that stage of the game. Going for a 2-hero dive under a tower, very risky. If they want to do that, it almost feels like they need to bring in someone like the Zeus, and even the Bounty as well. But
Bounty had to get the courier snipe.
Gets the courier, now he's getting tracks off as well. The chase is on, Exotic Deer is TP'd in on the Slark. Pops the Shadow Dance, he's going for the Sven. With the CM freezing field, yep, they'll get the kill. That's a track as well. Oracle had a track on himself, but it looks like he's purged it off, so will just be the one kill. But that's a Slark rotation in. He gets some track money. And with this Midas timing of his, he started off 0-3. He's finding some catch-up farm and money for himself here.
Yeah, well, Viper off on the other side of the map. Still trying to finish the mech. If he finishes the tower, he will have his mech. And even with the mech, I still feel like the way to play the Viper, the way to get value out of the mech is to group up. And Sven is just not ready to do that yet, not at all. Like, under normal circumstances, a Sven at this stage in the game might actually be ready, because of how fast he usually finds. Or mid lane, Tusk is probably dead. He dodges the Thunder God's Wrath, but yeah, he still dies.
Another track kill too, so not good news, as we will see Elements secure their Ancient stack. They will, as far as being able to stack it further, they deward the Sentry. They haven't secured farming it just yet. Sven has got to be eyeing it off that farm fairly soon though, since he can only stack it, I want to say, once, maybe twice more, depending on how things go. And a smoke forward from CM. I'm going to run directly into this Enchantress, and Enchantress will quickly realize what's going on here and look for the kill here. Frostbite into a TP out. And CM escapes on about 50 HP. Viper Strike looking as a kind of play here. Catcher in the mid lane. They didn't actually end up dewarding that Sentry. They almost took it out with the Zeus vision earlier, but it ends up killing off the Bounty Hunter, and Zeus dies as a result to follow. In the dire jungle. Goodbye, Sven.
Situation really plays into the hands of Viper.
Viper's suddenly getting involved. He has the money for his mech. Hasn't picked it up just yet with the courier dead. And Slark TP's on the high ground. TP out. They drop the wall, but they've got no cancel. Can't get the Walrus Punch from the low ground in. Slark, he even TP bottom. He didn't TP back to Fountain, so he immediately pops the Midas. Continues to farm.
Yeah, and I mean, look, those deaths in the mid lane, probably not ideal for Alternate. The fact that they kill the Sven at the same time, they'll just feel okay with it, because right now, the way the game is shaping up, if Sven can't get online at a good timing, I don't think there's another way that Elements can win this game. At some point, the Sven needs to farm Ancients, needs to get a whole lot of gold, needs to get some key items, and if Alternate keeps shutting down the Sven, it's almost the only thing they need to do, I think.
Yeah, well, Sven's going to go for the Ancients now. I think recognizing that now's a time where Alternate can't contest it so easily. They haven't got the Doom, but they will immediately put the ward here. They see this going on. Bounty can at least leech experience off of this. Question is, can he apply any pressure? In comes the Crystal Maiden as well. Snowball down as well. They've seen the Bounty Hunter. They know what he's up to, and unfortunately they have no follow-up detection here. They have a Sentry, but they planted it down, no dust, and Sven will secure the Ancients farm. But here comes the fight. Doom has gone charging in, doesn't actually have the ultimate, but he's got the Scorched Earth, the drums, his team looking to back him up down in the Roshan pit. It looks like Fabian goes down, Fervian goes down, and off of this, Alternate may look to transition into this bottom tier 1 tower push.
Sven does get up to 2k gold, so going to be able to buy, I don't know, Blink Dagger if he wants, or Sanj.
Sanj, Yasha, yeah. He goes for the Yasha first. It's funny, we've seen Sven's mostly favor the Yasha over the Sanj, as of late, just for the farming efficiency.
Yeah, it's like halfway between the Blink and the Sanj. That's what I feel like. The Blink is probably like the most all-in farming item of those, which is, you usually think Blink is the initiation item, but I think just getting you around the map is the best. But Yasha sort of like makes you a bit stronger and also gives you that farming efficiency.
Tracks coming out mid lane, and these Ancients will not just at once will continue to remain a big point of kind of contest between the two teams, because for Elements, farming not just 1 but 2, 3, 4 big Ancient stacks is going to be key for them to turn this game around. And the first Ancient stack secured, they've got to do that a few more times this game. Similarly, they want to find some more pickoffs. They smoked up, they run into the CM. It looked like they were possibly looking for the Slark, but CM, the Jukes! Oh, almost gets away. That was like a millisecond away from getting that TP out. Really nice TP attempt. Can't blame her for
But you know what, a 4-hero smoke gank to kill Crystal Maiden, and you're going to lose your mid tower, you're not going to get any objectives. That is a win for Team Alternate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, well, okay, they won't lose their mid tower. It will get likely denied here, which the fact this tower goes down at all is still a loss for Elements, who are going to lose a lot of control over their own jungle with the new access point through this mid lane available, and even lose control of your Ancients. It's so much easier to get to those dire Ancients when you can just run through this middle lane now, so the game gets a lot easier to control for Alternate.
The mobility is all online now for Alternate as well. They've got Blink on Zeus, Blink on Slark, and Shadowblade on Doom, so I feel like the supports on Elements are going to have to keep using all their gold on sentries and knobs. They're just spamming wards non-stop, otherwise they're going to just get caught out too much.
Oracle sitting on 1400 net worth, Tusk 2300. It's like you say, they're going to keep spending money on detection. These net worths are not going to change for the better anytime soon.
Yeah, unless they win some kind of big fights and are all around, but the threat is now, it's always there. It doesn't matter, you can't see Slark, you can't see Zeus, you can't see Bounty, you can't see Doom. Any of those heroes, if you can't see them, they could be about to jump on you, and that's a concern. Because any two of them, or just sometimes one of them plus Zeus ulti and you're dead.
So yeah, just going to continue his farm for now at the bottom lane, but I could say with this Blink Dagger up, we've got the ability to contest a lot here. Oh my gosh, yep. He got the sentry down, but drew aggro and Zeus ultimate finished him off. Zeus doesn't mind.
He just
throwing that one out.
Like not quite thinking ahead, right? Because the point in the sentry is to check if there's a ward, but if there's a ward, you're gonna die by attacking that much.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Zeus doesn't care revealing. I mean, the ward's already been revealed, so it's not like you're giving away a ward position by throwing that ultimate even. Feature. Well, he runs into a sentry. That's perhaps a bit unnecessary for him. Pops the mech off. Is he gonna go down? Okay. Tried to get off one last track before dying, couldn't even do that. And now they don't even know. Okay, Ice Shards. Doesn't get the vision. They can't even get the vision for this. They may have to fly the courier. Slark will blink himself away from this bottom lane.
It's such a frustration because they know that to get Sven back on track and like any kind of reasonable farm timing, they need to be securing these Ancients. But it keeps costing them deaths. The first time they cleared it, they lost the Tusk, they lost the ward. Second time they lose the Oracle, they didn't lose a ward this time, but I just feel like, and with all that in mind, Sven is still behind. And Sven is a hero that wants to be a few thousand gold ahead of everyone else in the game, not a few thousand gold behind.
Doom, not going to find much with this Shadowblade rotation. The ward here, which it's going to get de-warded now. And they actually knew that was there from earlier when the TP from the Slark happened on that cliff. And here comes the counterplay Elements looking to chase, but their catch is very lackluster without the blink on the Sven. As the SMY has the movement speed, as does the Enchantress just by nature with phase boots, but it's purely relying on the Tusk to get vision and get a snowball off.
What do you think of Crystal Maiden Ether Lens? Because this is actually...
Ooh.
I feel like, Ether Lens can be good on any support hero just about, but this is probably one of the last ones I'd advocated on. It's interesting.
Yeah. Again, a hero I just wouldn't naturally think to get it on. The cast range aspect... So, and well, Sven goes down. That's a big kill too. This ward still has not been de-warded. That just is giving Alternate a lot of information and the ability to go for that kill, not worried about anyone seeing behind the Sven, no Oracle or anything like that, and not just a tier 1 tower to fall off. They're going to get some damage and possible pressure onto this tier 2 bottom tower.
I guess the nice thing about the CM Lens is you can cast spells in a fight without actually going into the fight, so you can avoid getting... Like, sometimes you have to go too close and then you just get burst down quickly.
Does it increase the radius of the freezing field at all? Or is that...
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I don't think so, no.
Because there's no actual cast range for it, since you just cast it in position.
No, I don't think it would. And this is like, for me, I don't want to spend 850 gold in a Ring of Health for Crystal Maiden. That's why I don't really like this.
Well, she's already got the Tranquils too, so it
exactly.
becomes a little redundant. I'm a big fan of the drums on CM. They've already got a drums, but I feel even like having another drums is fine. Doom coming out, they're going to blink in. Exotic Deer wants to go for the Viper. It's the backline. The Doom's taking out the Oracle, which means Viper has no protection. Exotic Deer is going to go for the TP out in the Shadow Dance. He makes himself home. CM freezing field. Are there any stuns? They've already used them, but they'll right-click her down. Flow getting very low here. Doom, he's just the big boss of this game. Gets one more kill. Will pay for it with his life, unfortunately. And Ketchur, he's dusted up. Has he got an escape? He throws off another track here. The little Doomlings have already used their boulder tosses. A 4-for-2 trade. Doom actually got the Tusk kill, I believe, with those boulder tosses. And
Zeus is still here. Zeus has still got ulti. This is a dead enchantment.
Okay. Wow.
No rights at all to be there.
It's funny because the elements immediately ping the high ground as if it's a warden, and it wasn't even warded. It was just Zeus
He was trapped.
fighting him.
Well, he was also trapped.
Okay. They ping it as if it was warden. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. That's very, very strange. I'm not sure why the Enchantress came back in. In the meantime, Slark is farming the top lane, nearly got a Skadi, and this game is very quickly tumbling completely out of control for Element side. I don't know, short of like things really lining up in fights and Sven like cleaving a rampage and getting a whole extra item. Not really sure what they can do.
Every hero on this Radiant side is like posing a threat in some different way. Like the CM Freezing Field we've seen have impacts in fights. The Bounty Hunter's just getting tons of vision, track money for his team. Has the Guiding Greaves now once he respawns or once he picks it up from base.
It's just the Sven is too far behind. You can't do well with the Sven from behind. You can't really do well with Viper from behind. And to try and get them back in the game, the supports have to spend all their gold on wards. So everyone just gets further behind Viper's dead.
Oh, and it's not just Viper. It looks like Tusk as well with that snowball forward. That's going to be consecutive track kills. If Exotic Deer can commit to this one. He's got the Shadow Dance, which he'll just commit to be on the safe side. And 2 kills, not going to be a third. It looks like the Shuriken bounces around and they'll purge off the track and come back for the tier 2 tower.
And the problem with, Enchantress is the hero doing best on elements, and not just like on an absolute scale, but also like relative to her role. Sven dies again. When Enchantress is the only hero like representing hope in your team, it's a problem because if the enemy team just runs at you, Enchantress can't actually do anything. Like,
God, this Doom just goes in. Infernal Blades 1, Doom's another. That's going to be the death of the Enchantress as well as the Oracle. He goes down after the False Promise ends, and there we go. Enchantress dead. GG is called. It's a team wipe, and Game 3 goes the way of the Polish squad. Talked about how they perhaps should have won game number 2, but definitely looking like the strongest squad here today in this best of 3. And I would say fairly, this was to me a convincing 2-1. Like, not normally you say, oh, it went 3 games, it was close, but I don't really feel like this was a close series.
Yeah, I think in both matches so far today, the team that won was quite clearly better, even in this one, despite the losing a game. And it does align with the the cliched story you suggested earlier of good versus evil, and then evil strikes back. Then John finally slays Satan to knock him out of the tournament.
Yep. We're there, and well, we'll see whether good will continue to prevail throughout as the Polish squad of Team Alternate, a very stable team who've stuck together, and it's good to see them continue to play and compete at a pretty high level here, I've got to say. Definitely looking forward to see how they do in their future matches in this European qualifier. So for Elements, it's kind of the B, what was the B team being upgraded here. Definitely showed like some signs of improvement in game number 2, but they definitely, end of the day, look fairly outclassed. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you know who the do Alternates and we had do you know who they're playing next in the brackets? Is what I'm trying to ask.
They are playing against Team Spirit. So the new Team Spirit.
And the previous matchup we had, that goes
Fantastic
into
Five versus Ad Finem, yeah.
Okay, so those are actually, yeah, I do feel like the second round will be more even, both those matches.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think in the first round, the one series, like the Avengers Fantastic Five, was like hard to kind of judge how good Avengers were going to be because they were a totally new roster, but based on how these round 1 teams played, going to round 2, and like what you expect out of Ad Finem and Team Spirit, these should be closer series. Perhaps Spirit may be slightly favored against Alternate, and then Ad Finem versus Fantastic Five to me is a bit of a toss-up.
Yeah, pretty close one. So quite excited to see, and those are those won't be tomorrow because I think the second half of the first round will be tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to be back, and let me just check the schedule. So tomorrow we have Kaipi versus Empire. So new team Kaipi, which is what Bone 7, Sing Sing, Come With Me, Fucking Mad, and can't remember the 5th player.
Is it a Rise?
I don't think so because I think Bone 7's the off lane. Sing Sing's it's a mid. It's a cancel. I think.
Oh, right.
He's playing mid for them, and then I think Sing Sing's carry and Bone 7 off lane. So they're taking on Team Empire, and then the last series of the day is going to be Power Rangers versus Pro Dota Gaming. So Pro Dota Gaming's had some alright results lately. Power Rangers, I'm actually not even sure who's on that team anymore, so that's a bit of a question mark for me, but I'm curious to see how they do. I don't know if they've read.
Yeah.
Oh, they've registered. Oh, they've got Arise. So yeah, Arise is playing on Power Rangers with. I just popped open the roster reshuffle with Cheshire Cat, Goddamn, J4, and Bignum. So a lot of the familiar names as far as Power Rangers are concerned.
Yeah, I think they'll probably be somewhat favored in that one. Protoads have been doing all right recently, but I think they're similar to these first round. Like I'd put them in a similar position to this Elements B team. They probably won't be quite up to stand. But I mean, look, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and Kaipi, perhaps a fan favorite team, of course, with some of the players and names on their team. So definitely tune in tomorrow, guys, if you want to check out their first match against Team Empire, as well as Team Empire's first match with their new roster. So that does it for today. A big thanks to Scant for joining me. You can follow him on Twitter at Scantzor. You can follow myself at BTS Gods. But we'll be back tomorrow with more Style Ladder I-League Invitational action from the European qualifiers. We'll see you then.